Hello, now today we are in Piha checking out the new Volkswagen ID Buzz range. Now this is just going to be a bit of a short walk around and look today, maybe a little bit of a drive because it's quite tight, but in the next coming weeks we'll have a full review of this long awaited and really interesting vehicle. So here we have a couple of variants they've got in the range. So they are doing both people mover and cargo vehicles of the ID Buzz range. This one here is a GTX in all black. They've got all sorts of colors. They do short and long wheelbase versions of the passenger one. The GTX is always long wheelbase, but you can get the Pro version, the more standard version, in short and long wheelbase in 5, 6 or 7 seat options. This is the cargo version. The cargo versions are all short wheelbase, and you get those with 2 or 3 seats. In this case here, you've got the 3 seats, the driver's seat and the bench. Fairly simple and durable interior in the cargo version with lots of storage. Look at that storage up there, fairly substantial screen. And then if we open these side doors, you have about 3.9 cubic meters of space. Lots of tie downs. You get a universal loading floor in these things, which gets you access to the Sortimo one-click cargo system. So super handy there. And then this is the cargo version from the rear. And you know, look, Volkswagen are pointing out that these are going to be real billboards for the businesses that have them. You know, part of the idea. It's not just about having a van. There are cheaper vans out there, but you know, for those premium businesses that really want to have a great look, a real eye-catching fleet vehicle, that is one. Now, of course, they've hauled out plenty of original Volkswagen buses here for us to have a look at. These are just awesome vehicles. I've never driven one, something I might have to change. This one here is a camper. Super cool. Right, so we're doing a walkthrough now, I guess, of the hero model here today. We've been told this is the GTX in this lovely silver and red look. Big Volkswagen badge on the front there. You've got cameras in the front there for your various driving assistance features. Radar panel down the front there. No frunk, even though there's I guess if you look at the bulk of the car, a big amount of space there. But that's various mechanicals fitted in there. Now on the outside, look at the side profile. We have just that big slab of black tinted windows, the neat kind of grey roof around it, and then, yeah, these colours. Now, you've got multiple options for wheels and your colouring, and people apparently, the first in the country being wrapped, people doing all sorts of creative things with this. We have the charging port here, CCS Type 2, 91 kilowatt hour battery on this particular one. There are different smaller batteries on the short wheelbase one, and then we have the back door here. It's a big vehicle, this car. I'll put the measurements up on the screen. Now I'm going to double check this. I don't have the key in my pocket, but supposedly it's kick sensors for the doors. I don't have the key in my pocket, but electric tailgate, which is not that common on vans. And then there is the boot with all 7 seats in place. Got some charging equipment there. 12 volt in the back. No vehicle to load in the car, which is kind of annoying. Got a grab handle there, but you've got a button, so I'm not sure why they need that. Now let's have a quick look in the rear. Similarly, this window here, electrically sliding. It's one of the things that they waited for the 2025 model to launch in New Zealand. Now if we pull on this handle here, again, electric door. If you do have the key in your pocket, that is electric. Quite a slow move. Let's start at the back. Flip this forward. That's the space for your rear seats. So the reverse of some vans, this one has 2 seats in the back and 3 seats in the middle, but they are decent seats. They are adult size seats, plenty of space. You pop up those headrests. There's USB-C ports at every seat. You've got cup holders there in the back as well. If we pop this back up, push that back a little bit. The second row is 3 seats as well, and 3 decent seats. You know, that's a really wide centre seat, even if it does look a bit flat and basic. You can option a panoramic glass roof, the biggest in a Volkswagen available. It uses a electrochromatic tinting, not optioned on this one here. But again, this second row, plenty of space in the long wheelbase model. You've got tables there, so the kids can have their lunch and their drink, do a bit of drawing. Pockets here for things like cell phones. Plenty of nice little handy things. Now the GTX has a Harman Kardon sound system in it. Again, you can see that USB-C port there as well. And plenty of ventilation. In the GTX you get separate air conditioning controls and plenty of vents in the rear, and that's all important. You don't want the kids getting car sick. Now from here we can look through to the front of the vehicle, that big dashboard, a big screen in the center there. Again, lots of storage like we saw in the cargo one, and a very Volkswagen ID-esque steering wheel and control binnacle. This is what we have seen before. Let's come around and look at the front. So the driver's seat is electric. Electric controls in there. Really cool GTX specific fabrics on these. You have this storage box in the center. I think they call that a buzz box. All sorts of little cubbies in there for extra handy things. You do have a wireless phone charger. It's up there along with 2 more USB-Cs. Cup holders down here. Storage over there, glove box, and a big screen. Now, we'll jump in. This screen is a new system they waited for. So it's a bit different to the original ID4. Lots of controls. You've got wireless, Android Auto, and CarPlay. It's all configurable. You do have a voice assistant called Ida. Heating, obviously, for the seats. Now, the steering wheel has got capacitive buttons here. I know they haven't been popular and they've been switched out on some of the models, but they seem to work okay to me. Quite a sporty steering wheel for the GTX. You've got this transmission shifter there. I quite like this kind of, it's not wood, but a wood grain kind of material on the dashboard. And then controls for the lights down there.
And one little cool detail down here, play and pause buttons on the pedals.
Right, let's take it for a drive. Right, so by the magic of television, we are now driving the ID Buzz Cargo. We were looking, I know, before at the one that takes people, but the joy of launches is you kind of take what you get. But it doesn't matter. They're all roughly the same in some ways, in that the short wheelbase vehicles have one type of battery. The long wheelbase ones, you get a bigger battery, and then they have very similar drivetrains. You can get a rear-wheel drive one with 210 kilowatts and 560 newton meters of torque, and a all-wheel drive dual motor setup, 250 kilowatts of combined power. The torque, they don't give a combined figure, but still 560 for the rear axle. That's right, this is a rear-wheel drive. And I think about 160 for the front axle. And they do feel pretty darn saucy for a van. I don't have 0 to 100 times, I can put those up on the screen. But it does feel like a rear-wheel drive vehicle with a bit of stonk. If I put my foot down, it really gets up and goes. Now, of course, that will be blunted when you've put these 700 odd kilos of potential payload in the back. But that much power, and also the way it's delivered in quite a nice way, means it's hopeful that you'll still have a relatively performant van when you're underway. Now, with those big batteries, you do get reasonable range. The smaller battery, you're looking at just under 400, but just under 400 kilometers, a bit over 400 kilometers with a bigger battery. Can't tell you what the real world's going to be yet, because I haven't really had much time to tell you. But this vehicle here, which has gone over the hill from Auckland to Piha with some energetic people behind the wheel, is running at just under 22 kilowatt hours for the 100k mark, and that kind of aligns with what they're talking about. So if you multiply that out by 4, that's about 88 kilowatt hours, and I think the usable on the big battery is just under that. So this is unusual driving, really. If there's one thing I would say about the drive experience, it was around town in the GTX. I thought the throttle mapping was a little aggressive. You know, trying to get away from the lights, you just kind of breathe on the pedal just that little bit, and it kind of jumped out of the hole. Now, you'll get used to it, but I do feel maybe they just need a little bit more of a ramp in that GTX pedal, just to make it a little more easy, a little more flexible when you are in the city, and particularly when you're talking about a passenger van, you want it to be nice and smooth. But yeah, it is a bit of a sports van. You can't get away from the feeling of sitting back in this vehicle. So the windscreen is actually a long way forward of us. It's quite a flat, square windscreen as well. You've got these kind of big A windows here, these windows inside. It's quite a unique perspective and quite a unique position to be sitting in compared to other vans. But you know what? Certainly for the cargo one, it is very comfortable. Sometimes in cargo vans, I find they can be a little bit squishy, a little bit tight. This one does, I think because of the way that windscreen's a long way away, feel really spacious and really airy. And everything's nice to hand. The screen here is nice to hand. I actually don't mind the shifter on the steering wheel here. The steering wheel position's good. The screen here gives you just enough information, speed, range, consumption, that kind of thing, that, yeah, it's totally usable. That's it. I can't test much today. We're only doing a very short distance, but as far as just a basic driving vehicle, this feels really, really good. Right, so that's the Volkswagen ID Buzz. Look, only a little bit of a taste at this point. We'll have more coming really soon, including the cover story in the next magazine. But so far, you know, a really cool vehicle, really cool detail work, but also really practical at the same time. The prices are up there, but I think it's really hard to compare this to a typical people mover, a typical van, just because it's so different. And obviously all that electrification, the big battery, all those kind of things. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget, like and subscribe for more great vehicle content.